Beautiful. Now you're positive I'm not interrupting bingo.
No, you were in trouble.
Politicians are supposed to try to get votes, not lose votes. And so you never want to speak before people are going to eat, and you certainly never want to interrupt bingo. So I want to make sure that we're all done playing. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I won't take up a lot of time. I thought I'd just speak for a couple minutes. Oops, sorry, John. I thought I'd kick my friend. And then I thought I'd answer any questions anybody might have. We have a very, 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 I'll say it one more time, a very important election coming up in 2 months. And no matter what side of the aisle you sit on, whether you think you're a hard conservative Republican or you're a strong, believing liberal Democrat, doesn't matter. You better be, we better be involved in this election. Now, I don't typically have to tell you all that because your generation understands how important this country is, and mostly you all get how important this election is. It's typically people in my generation and my kids' generation that doesn't quite sufficiently understand how important things are. But I always say that in every group I'm in front of. I believe, and I could be wrong, folks, but I believe, and I haven't been around forever, I think this is the most important election in years in this country. Well, Bulldog Cafe, that's a great t-shirt. You said in our history, I agree with you. I think what the country decides to do on November 6th will pretty much dictate the kind of country your grandkids are going to grow up in. The kind of country your great-grandkids are going to grow up in. It's that important. Politicians always say, really important, really important, really important. This one is. This country that we all love, and look, I'm on TV a lot, I argue a lot, I debate a lot. Everybody in Washington, Republican or Democrat, loves this country. From President Obama down to Joe Walsh, we all love this country. Don't ever question anybody's love for this country. But this country we all love is dying right now. And we know, Republican or Democrat, we're so much better than this. If a politician tells you the unemployment rate is 8.3%, they're lying. Turn around and walk away. Most Americans have quit looking for work, and we don't even count them in the unemployment rate. If any politician tells you that we're really broke, our debt this week, our debt hit past $16 trillion, they're lying to you. It's worse than that. This great country we love isn't working. Americans aren't working. You drive through any town in this district, Bloomingdale, Addison, Schaumburg, Elk Grove. These areas look like ghost towns. Small businesses boarded up. This great, energetic, entrepreneurial, freedom-loving country isn't working, and we're broke. We're so broke. And the reason we're so broke is because our politicians, Republican and Democrat, all they care about is getting reelected. So every time an election comes around, they do the same darn thing, too many of them. They promise everybody things. They promise to put more seniors on Medicare. They promise to give health care to everybody. They promise to pay off your student loans. They promise to give every young woman free contraceptives. We just go right down the line and promise people things. And our politicians don't ever think about what these things cost. And then an election comes and goes, and we all wake up and we realize, oh my gosh, we're really broke. We don't have any money. If we don't turn this around really quickly, our kids and our grandkids are going to pay our bills. How does that make you feel? Our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandkids are going to pay our bills.
If they're working.
If they're working. Yeah, if they're lucky enough to find a job, darn near every dollar they make is going to go to pay our bills. The reason this election, and then I'm going to close, and I'll be happy to take anybody's question. 2 final points. The reason this election is so important, it is the most important election in our history, is because I believe, and I'll say this with a smile on my face, because I know I'm being taped by my opposition, but I'll say this with a smile on my face. This great, beautiful, free country, folks, is going through a revolution. We really are. We're having a grand debate and a great fight about the very essence of what America is all about. And I believe, half of the country believes, this country was founded upon freedom. We all believe in a little bit of government, but generally government stays out of the way, and we all live our lives, make money, raise our families, grow a business, and the government sort of stays out of our way, and the government is there to take care of the truly needy. It's pretty much what this country was founded upon. The only country in the history of the world founded upon an idea, freedom, 234 some years later, we're very, very, very far away from that original America. Now we live in a country, folks, and we've all let it get this way, where we've asked government to take care of darn near all of us. The problem with, and both parties have done this, both parties have done this, the problem with it is, we're bankrupt. We can't keep asking government to take care of all of us, or there will be no government to take care of your grandkids, any of them. The most tragic thing about this new America is, because we've asked government to do everything and take care of all of us, our families aren't as strong as they used to be. You know it. We're not as involved in our churches as we used to be. We don't get as involved in our charities as we used to be. We don't, and again, I'm not talking about your generation, because your generation had it better than mine. But people my age and younger, we don't help the man or the woman down the street who's run into hard times like we used to. Too many people now just assume government will take care of all that. So these two different visions of America are at war. And you know what? We are doing a lot of fighting in Washington. I went to Washington, I went there with a smile on my face to fight. Because I think we're losing this original America. It's important your politicians fight. I'm glad we're fighting. Eventually, just so Miss Duckworth understands, eventually you gotta come together and get things done. We all get that. But I'd rather have us fighting as a country than sleeping. And we've been asleep, and we've let this country get to a point. Think about this, folks. And I really will close with this point. Because we've all been asleep at the wheel, within about 12 years, and I think sooner than that, Medicare, just take one government program, Medicare. Within 12 years, poof, it will disappear. Medicare will be gone. Medicare will be bankrupt. That's just one big government program. If we don't do anything to Medicare, it will be gone. I don't think there's anybody in this room that wants that to happen. No. I'm with seniors all the time. I have yet to meet a senior who said, don't do anything to Medicare. I don't care if it's there for my kids and my grandkids. Don't touch it. I haven't met that senior yet. Maybe I will today, but I haven't yet. That's only one government program. So, Joe Walsh is walking around campaigning, looking you and you and you in the face, and me in the face, and saying, America, it's time to grow up. We've been sitting here like this with our politicians for years. Give me things. Give me things. We need to begin taking care of our own lives. We need to tell politicians to pay their bills. We need to ask this country to grow up and have more of us take care of each other and government not take care of everybody. And if we don't, there will be no government around in 10 to 20 years. And we don't want that to happen. That's why this election is so important. I'm going to stop there. Whenever I'm with a group of people, and there is not a member of Congress that's held more town halls than me, you can ask me anything you want to ask. Ask me any personal question, any policy, any political. Don't hold back, you can ask me anything. Does anybody have a question about anything? Yes, sir.
Mine is, I agree with many things that you've said. After 90 years of living and voting, I have heard...
How old are you?
90. And I have heard so many promises coming from Washington in my time, and I wish now that Congress would learn how to get along with one another. You're talking very, I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican. I admire what you have said, but I think why is it that the congressmen sitting in, you watch them on television sitting in this beautiful room, and they don't talk to one another, they argue with one another without solving a problem, because no side wants to give. Why? Why?
Two answers. And I don't mean to poo-poo, because I do get your premise. We get along better than the media lets on. Often when you watch us in the media, they're always trying to find the times where we're arguing.
Right.
When we're in Washington, Republicans and Democrats really do get along better than what's seen on the media. That's point number one. But point number two, we're broke, we're not working, our economy's not growing. We are about to fall off a cliff as a country. We didn't get to this point, my friend, because Republicans and Democrats fought all these years. We got to this point because Republicans and Democrats got along just fine. Remember, all Republicans and Democrats want to do is get reelected. So they come together every election to give you things, promise you things. They both do it. They get along just fine. And we keep growing government and we keep living beyond our means. So it's not because we fought that we've got the problems we've got now. Again, I think it's a good thing Washington's finally fighting. I think it's a good thing that Americans out here are fighting a little bit more. This is important stuff to fight about. You guys know this better than I do, because most of you have probably been around this planet longer than I have. It wasn't that long ago that men and women risked everything to start this country. Think about that. Not that long ago. Men and women have died over the years in wars to defend this great country. I think we all can put up with our politicians fighting a little bit to get it right. But eventually, my Democrat friend, I love it when politicians talk that way. My Democratic friend from Tennessee. Eventually, you're right. Democrats and Republicans got to come together to fix the problems. Absolutely. It takes two to tango, and we definitely do. And they get that. They get that.
They should raise the taxes on the rich and lower our taxes down. How come they don't want to, the corporations don't want to pay the taxes?
Yeah.
Even Buffett, he pays less taxes than his secretary.
Well, you're right. We have such a ugly, complicated, convoluted, messy tax code. So the only ones that